There's a meeting happening right now at luxury brand headquarters somewhere in the world, probably Europe, where someone is presenting a deck and the slides show disappointing client retention numbers, conversion rates, average retention value. Someone in the room says the floor needs to do more with less, and a few people nod. But no one in that room has worked in a store or on the sales floor in years, and that gap between what the data shows and what actually happens on the sales floor is what's costing luxury brands more than they are willing to admit. Welcome back to For the Doers. I am Seda. This season, we're talking about the relationship advantage. The idea that people are at the center of every part of how we lead, how we build, and how we grow. Today's episode sits right at the heart of that. We're going inside the luxury store, my old stomping grounds, and we're talking about what the sales floor actually knows, what corporate consistently misses, and why the gap between those two things is one of the most expensive problems in luxury right now. Let's talk about it. Part one, what the floor knows. When a client walks into a luxury store, we should immediately assume that they're walking into a relationship. The person who greets them, that associate on the sales floor, they know more about that client than a CRM system could ever capture. They know how she takes her time, or that he wants to be left alone to browse for the first few minutes when he comes in, or if the family just had a loss, or if she's celebrating something that she hasn't told anyone yet. That knowledge is the foundation of client retention. The sales floor knows when a client starts pulling back before the data does. They feel that shift in their energy when the visits get shorter, when the warmth they had starts to cool and they stop returning your calls. Corporate sees it months later as numbers on a page. The sales floor knows which products clients actually want, what they come in for and ask by name. They know the products that they return to and the products that create repeat visits. Corporate finds out about all of this when the sell-through data comes in from the POS, but the floor is where the brand's promise either lives or fails every day. Part two, what corporate misses. Here's what tends to happen in corporate strategy when business slows down. Headcount gets reviewed, budgets get cut, KPI pressure goes way up, and the stores are asked to move faster, sell more, capture more client data in the system, and the floor gets even quieter. Most importantly, the associates who have cultivated years of client relationships, the ones who have all of the VICs and the regulars, and they've built trust, they leave. And when they leave, those relationships leave with them. In the early 2010s, when we were so busy with the luxury client from Asia, if someone would leave, we would say, that's okay because the customer's coming in for that name over the door, not yours or mine. And my, how things have changed, because right now corporate just calls it turnover, but the client calls it abandonment, and they do not always come back. And the research backs that up. In 2025, CXG surveyed 12,000 people working on the floors of 12 luxury brands. 51% of those sales associates said that they were planning on leaving. And in the US and France, that number is 60%. And here's what that actually cost the business. Bain and Company in 2025 found that 68% of a brand's VICs, very important clients, will follow their client advisor when that advisor moves to a new brand. 68% of your valuable clients following that person. And the client didn't just leave, they just followed the person that they trusted. And I've seen this happen mainly in ready-to-wear and jewelry, which are high-touch, high-trust departments. Brands are investing in clienteling technology while the human infrastructure that makes the clienteling work is quietly getting hollowed out because a clienteling app doesn't earn trust, the relationship does. When you put a script in front of an associate and tell them to follow a process, you've already lost. Luxury clients aren't responding to the selling ceremony because that is a given now. They're responding to being seen, and making people feel seen, that's a skill, and that requires time and stability and a real investment in the people who are doing it. Part 3, the relationship is the product. In luxury, the product is the reason that the client comes in the first time. What brings them back is something else entirely. Relationships are the new currency in luxury sales. And actually, it's a return to what luxury has always been at its best. The brands that build legacies didn't do it on transaction volume. They did it on depth of relationships, on knowing that client for decades, sometimes generations, and becoming part of their lives. It's a level of care that makes the client feel every single time like they're the only one. Corporate teams can build a strategy around relationships or they can optimize for quarterly numbers. But the brands that are consistently doing both, they're the ones pulling ahead. The sales floor already understands it and lives it every day. The question is whether leadership is listening. Part 4, what great actually looks like. The luxury brands getting this right share a few things. They invest in their floor teams as though they are the strategic asset because they are. Training is continuous. It's not one-time onboarding or quarterly merch teams calls. And stores are recognized for relationships built, not just transactions closed. These brands create real pathways for the floor's insight to reach leadership, not just yearly feedback surveys that I call the vehicle for venting. They're actual mechanisms for the people closest to the client to inform strategy. They understand that retention is built one relationship at a time, and that means that the person that's developing that relationship needs to feel supported too. These brands don't confuse clienteling technology with clienteling culture. The tools can support the relationship, but they can't replace it. Clienteling is a brand behavior. It starts with your people and it ends with loyal, emotionally invested clients. And that investment flows from the top down or it doesn't happen at all. The sales floor has always known what luxury actually is. It's personal, it's relational, it's earned through consistency and the kind of care and attention that makes a person feel like they matter, not just as a client segment or as a sales associate, but as a human being. Corporate has the data, the strategy, and the resources, but the sales floor owns the relationships. And when those two things are aligned, that's when luxury becomes what it's supposed to be. And that is a relationship advantage. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, please share your comment below. I would love to hear your take, especially if you work or have worked in the business. I'm Seda. This is for the doers. I will see you next week, and I hope you have a great one until then. Okay, bye.